What up, Nikki? Hope you had a nice hiatus, nice little bit of time off. Um, Wanted to get this video out to you last night, but I've just been so busy, man. Everything, my side business is going crazy, my regular business is going crazy, and I haven't been able to get enough time to do as much game dev as I would like. But I wanted to get this video out, and I actually did do a little bit development yesterday, but I didn't get the video done. So let's get on to this new boss. So this guy is basically going to be like a flying saucer with some buzzsaw type blades on the side. I know I use these buzzsaw type blades a lot, but I think that is a pretty nice reoccurring theme that we have. It kind of gives the machines their own, common look. And this is going to be like a buzzsaw. Sorry, I probably should have this pulled up right now, but let's just Google buzzsaw. Should come right up, I would imagine. So when I mean that, I mean something kind of like this, on the sides. And this guy's going to have... There we go, good. So this guy's going to basically be a circular enemy, and I really want him to kind of look like a flying saucer when you think of like the typical alien ship. And he's going to be made up of... He's going to have always this central glowing orb. And this orb, this picture, what you see here, will be his regular quote-unquote idle or fly animation. And he's always going to be creating a bullet out of here. So this I'd like to be always constantly pulsating with a bright light. And I actually kind of want to start doing that a lot with our bosses and any enemies that we do from now on, if we do any more enemies. I like the idea of having like a consistent pulsing area where the gun, where like the blaster is, just because it just gives me the freedom to control, to create the bullet at any integer that I want. I can do that randomly, so I don't have to like always switch back and forth to. I mean, I know switching animations isn't the biggest deal in the world, but it just makes it easier for me. It's just more versatile when I program. So if this thing's always constantly pulsating and glowing this middle, I can create a homing bullet out of here. And basically the AI of this character, and I'll show you the placeholder in a second, is he follows the character and then after a while he retreats. It actually is very reminiscent of the first boss. Kind of. So that's the first animation. He kind of comes at you and he basically kind of hovers at you and kind of, and he twitches a little bit just like the first boss, and he's always creating this hovering bullet or homing missile that explodes into a cluster. When he retreats, every random integer, between I think it's like 3 and 6 seconds or whatever, I trigger a custom event where he basically retreats to the top of the screen and moves back and forth and then creates bullets. Now you can see how I have this almost like this thing is made up of 4 different like triangular quadrants. You can follow my mouse here. So like here's 1 triangle, and then like here's 2 triangles, and then here's 3 triangles. So when he is in this state, you actually won't be able to damage him. So I want to really sell the idea that he looks armored here, like a really tough, armored, enemy. And when you're shooting him with bullets and hitting him with dash attacks, you're not going to be able to damage him. You'll be able to do a little bit of damage, but not much. And I'm going to further, show that to the player by having a sound effect. It'll be like ting, ding, ting, 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 and then they'll hear that and they'll see that they're doing no damage. So the player's basically going to, in this state, have to kind of wait it out and just dodge his attacks. He can attack the enemy if he wants to, but it's just going to waste his special. So then his attack animation, he's going to retreat and then reveal. You can almost see the... I did this in like this is me doing animation frames. So you're going to go from this animation to this. So you can see how he starts to slowly open up, and then he reveals his insides. So he's going to retreat back and then reveal these insides. And the animation would basically just be like a few frames where it just kind of opens these triangular quadrants and reveals what's underneath. And of course, his middle bullet is there because you always see that. That's in the beginning right here. That's always visible to the player. But then, so just picture like this armored shield retracting backwards into the unit. Oh, and also these buzzsaw blades will always be spinning. They'll always be spinning. I want to try to always have this buzzing like a buzzsaw. Now, in these animations, in the first ones, before he goes into rage mode, and we'll get into that in a minute, I want the buzzsaw to be, medium, like it's not going to be going too crazy. It's not going to be going too fast. But these blades should be spinning around. I mean, picture, if you would, this thing being turned on, and this thing rotating slowly, So then the second animation, his shoot animation, would be him opening slowly. He retreats, he opens, and then he reveals his insides. Now, in this one, I want the middle. He reveals his insides, which this is when the player can actually damage it. And then you'll see 4 more blasters. These blasters will not be lit, though. He'll still just instead pulsate a bigger blast out of his middle. He'll reveal his complete insides. The blades in the outside can still be spinning too. They should always be spinning slowly. Excuse me. And then, and then you'll see this big blast. So basically he'll retreat and then he'll create a whole bunch of bullets come out of here. And this will be the player's opportunity to do damage to the enemy. After that, once it gets, and then he'll go back. He'll retreat back into this form, which will basically be like, and then so then I need an animation. So his shoot animation needs to be like, him opening up, and then him blasting a little bit, and then him like creeping back into this. So that's essentially what his shoot animation is going to look like. Blast, and then back. Blast, and then back, Or I might even do a different animation. Like I might have one animation called, open and shoot, and then one animation called close, I'll cut those animation frames up. But as long as we have him opening and closing, which can essentially be the same animation frames, just done in reverse. So I need him opening up and closing, but when he opens up, I need to blast out of his central cannon. And he'll reveal that he's got these other blasters, but they won't be shooting currently. They can just be exactly like the middle one, just, not glowing. Then when he gets under a certain amount of health, he goes into rage mode, kind of like our first boss. This is where the blades, sorry this is a little light too, this is where the blades are going to spin way faster. So the circular bandsaw blades will go way faster, and every single blaster will be going off like crazy. And like I said, like even before, we can make these constantly pulsating because, I'll be creating bullets out of here at random integers, and, it just makes it so much easier for me to be able to create a bullet at will without having to sync it up to the animation where it's actually, looking like it's firing. So like right here, bullets are going to be coming out of here like crazy, and then he gets way more aggressive. I don't want this video to run on too long, but let me just show you. So, sorry. Here he is. So you can see... So this is his armored state. You can see how he's always creating that bullet. Now see how he got into rage mode? Or not rage mode. He went into shoot mode, and then he went back into his armored state. And notice how I'm not damaging him during this armored state? So it's a random thing. So here he is armored. He's armored. He shoots that little bullet out, and then there he goes. Boom. He opens up his insides and shoots this cluster bomb out. And he stays open for a random periods of time. It's all random. So, and then he always retreats. So you see how he's opened it up way more. He's like opened up longer at that point for the player. And so he's always got these cluster bullets. I'm really proud of this boss because I really like him. I think he's really fun. He's actually quite difficult, and I think it's a perfect boss for level 3. So he's always shooting these clusters out. But when he's armored like he is now, it'll be like ting 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 ting. So the player will know that they're not doing any damage. And then when he opens up, I'll probably have another audio cue or something like that for the player to like let them know like he's open. And when he's open too, like we should make his insides like really like glowing and bright. Like his top when he's in his armored state, like right now, it should be like really armored looking, silver, like it's like really flying saucer, like really just sell that like armored, tank kind of feel. And then when his insides are exposed, it should be like blinking red and, just give it that feeling of an exposed underbelly. And you can see now I'll actually start kind of trying to damage him here. Have my special built up quite a bit here, but yeah, he's a fun boss. He's quite aggressive, and having that cool little armored state really helps. Having that really cool like armored state really helps add another dynamic to the gameplay, and I think people are really gonna have fun with this boss. He's actually still quite difficult. You should definitely have some upgraded health. And you should be pretty well upgraded. He's going to go into rage mode pretty soon, and I'll show you rage mode here. Here's the rage mode. So now he's fully exposed and can always be damaged. And then, this mode is pretty cool because of the player he's dealt with, having to deal with this armored state for quite a while, and now he can kind of, be able to always damage the boss. But the boss gets slightly more aggressive, and there's bullets just everywhere. But he actually gets a little bit easier, in my opinion, at this state. But you can kind of get the gist of what we're going for here. And then I just killed him. So he's a really cool boss. Let me know what you think if you've got questions. I know this one might be a little complicated as far as getting that, but I mean, really, we only need like 4 animation frames. We need, the regular fly, which would be the fly/armored, his armored idol, which always has the bullet, being pulsated out of the middle, and then the open and shoot, which is like him opening up and then shooting, and then he's got his rage mode one. So yeah, man, let me know what you think of this.